For 10 centuries it has waited to be awakened, to be worshipped again like a god, to fill the skies, to cast its shadow over the earth, to release its fury. Today in New York City, the winged serpent rises. The winged serpent rules. The winged serpent. David Carradine.
This thing has been prayed back into existence.
Michael Moriarty.
It was big, and there was something in it that looked like an egg. But it couldn't have been an egg. I mean, there aren't any eggs. I mean, there's no egg that big.
Richard Roundtree.
What I want to know is, how the hell does this tie in with the murders and the mutilations?
Candy Clark.
What are you going to do if someone dies tomorrow, or the next day, or the next day?
Well, I'm not going to think about it. You know, it won't be my fault. It'll be theirs if they don't give me what I want.
Money. $1 million in cash, tax-free.
They are searching.
Looking good.
Discovering. Believing. And preparing for the battle of 1,000 years.
Load tracer ammunition. Want to see the trajectory?
Get those guys into the basket.
Okay, everybody hold their positions. Everybody stay right where you are, all right? Don't move.
Against the fantastic flying forces of a lost age.
You like saying a prayer?
Man against the winged serpent. Today in New York City, the winged serpent rules. The legend has come alive.
Coming to you undead from Elm Street in fictional Haddonfield with a beautiful view of Crystal Lake, the podcast where every day is Friday the 13th and every night is Halloween. You are listening to Blood, Guts, and Blu-Ray with your hosts Bloodbath and Brett 667, the neighbor of the beast.
Thank you for taking the time to listen to Blood, Guts, and Blu-Ray number 4. My name is Bloodbath.
I'm Brett 667, the neighbor of the beast.
And I'm Bub.
That's right. We have a new member of the family. I know him as Bruce, but from here on out, he will be referred to as Bub. For those who get the reference, I'm sure you'll appreciate, and those who don't, go watch the original Day of the Dead, and you'll figure out what we're talking about. Bub and I have known each other for almost 12 years now, right?
Long time, man, yeah.
We spent some time playing music together, and a lot of the time when we weren't cranking out jams, we were watching and appreciating horror movies, B-movies, trauma movies, everything. So I'm glad he's here. I've been asking him to do this the same day that I asked Brett, and he was like, nah. But I'll do your artwork.
Exactly. I wasn't sure it was for me at first, you know?
And then he changed his mind like 2 weeks ago. So glad to have him here. Let the record show since the day that I asked Brett and Bub to do this when we started developing it, which was Brett's birthday. What day is that, Brett?
May 11th.
May 11th. Since May 11th, I have taken notes on 109 horror films. 109. That's pretty good. I'm just saying.
Not 108. Just don't.
Not 108.
For the record, let's keep this record straight.
So, has anybody? I know Bub sent it to me earlier this week, but Brett, have you seen the picture of the new It New Pennywise the Clown?
No, I haven't actually. Did they release an image?
They released an image. I think it was Entertainment Weekly released it. Is that right?
Yep.
It is pretty wild. I'm excited. It definitely looks very modern. It looks like they, it's very Hollywood touched up. This is gonna be a huge budget picture. You can tell. But I'm pretty excited about it. Bruce, what do you think? Or excuse me, Bub, what do you think?
You know who they got doing it? That Brian Skarsgård kid. He's you ever see on True Blood that main vampire who owns that bar?
Yes.
The dude with the long blonde hair. It's his little brother.
Okay, yeah, I know. Yeah, I know which guy you're talking about.
Yeah.
Alexander Skarsgård.
That's him. Yep.
Yep.
I think it's gonna be a wild. Well, I mean, I love the other one, but the acting in it is just terrible. So finally, maybe this great story will get some good acting chops behind it. Let's see, what else was I going to talk about today? Oh yeah, I went to Guar Bar this afternoon, all the way in Richmond, Virginia, which was wild. Awesome. It was fucking awesome. I went there with my wife and my kid, and I ate like a fucking idiot. It was so good. The food was fucking awesome. So if anybody ever gets a chance, go, because it's awesome, and try the barbecue sauce. It's fucking incredible.
Please tell me that everything looks like fake blood. Please tell me everything looks like fake blood.
They have like splattered blood all over the bar.
Awesome.
All over the place. It's wild. So we weren't sure what we were going to talk about today. Surf Nazis Must Die was being tossed around. Microwave Massacre was almost our movie today, but ultimately we decided on Q the Winged Serpent. That was right up our alley. So Q the Winged Serpent came out in 1982. Directed by the amazing Larry Cohen.
Legend.
With a legendary Larry Cohen. The king of the B-movie schlock. $1.1 million budget. In the box office, it did shitty. It only made $255,000. But the body count was 15, and there was a pair of boobs in it, so that brings the naughty count up to 1. Brett, would you care to go through a synopsis?
I would love to. In the midst of New York City, at the height of debauchery, comes a winged serpent that is somehow eating the heads off of beautiful women and window washers without anybody actually noticing it. And of course, when people start to realize it, the level of panic is at an all-time low, and David Carradine and a Tommy gun and a bunch of police officers, as well as a shady wannabe convict, are tasked with taking down the beast. And God, the one-liners just you know what, I'm not going to ruin the ending, but we're past our 5 years, way past our 5 years,
past our 5 years.
Culminates to a battle that I haven't laughed so hard since the original Godzilla movies, and it actually left me wanting more.
I think I could speak for all three of us when I say that I really like this movie a lot. I think it's so undersung as far as I've never hear anybody ever talking about this.
Dude, I had never heard of it ever.
And
until
I know
you guys sent it to me.
Right, and I'm pretty sure that Brett picked it because it looked like a fucking metal album cover. So
it looks like a High on Fire cover.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I was just clicking through Shudder, and I was just going through different options, and I'm like, Q the Winged Serpent. Watch the trailer. I'm like, yep, I'm sold. This is the movie right here that I want to watch. Look at that album cover, and of course, which the Russian cover's even better. It's phenomenal.
The trailer for this movie is incredible. I think that's how we should pick the movies from now on. If we don't know, we get in a situation like this where we have to choose between the Microwave Massacre and which I would have been fine talking about. But we gotta talk about the Microwave Massacre, and we gotta talk about Q the Winged Serpent. The trailer is the ultimate decider, because this is your classic grindhouse 80s movie, really, I don't know, just gritty looking trailer, and you know that it's pure shit. And and it made it exciting. Oh, I loved it. The best line is like right in the beginning, where David Carradine's in the bar, and the bartender goes to him, "Hey, that guy's head. Did you guys ever find that guy's head?" And he's like, "Yeah, it'll turn up."
Actually, and right after that is where David Carradine tells Moriarty, that was actually really good. I enjoyed it. And he turns like, "What the fuck do you know?" With a big smile on his face. I was like, that's comedy right there.
Bruce, you got a good, do you have a good line from this?
You know what? I'm trying to think. You know what? Like right in the beginning, when the window washer's head comes flying off the building, you know, he's like, look at this thing, and he's like, yeah, that's what it looks like if a cabbage dropped 40 floors from the top. You know, it's like crazy.
And the beginning part is great. I loved it. I loved how it's like those two, the actress who's in the building and the window washer, they're, other than witnessing the death and being the death, they're completely disconnected from the story altogether. And
the window washer's, he's such a creep though.
I love you. Oh my god, I love you so much. Like
he's like you're
actually, and he's not even saying. He's like, yeah, you love me. I know you love me. You can't wait to see me. Yeah, you love me. I'm like, that's New York.
And the best part is it's grimy, shitty 80s New York. It's the most terrible New York ever, where you could easily get stabbed at any time. That's like, my dad's still afraid to go into the city because of 80s New York. That's how bad New York was in the 80s.
Well, you know what was funny about that too is that I was sitting here wondering to myself, how the fuck would the Chrysler Building have all these holes and no one would know what was going on, and all this shit and these dead bodies and these fucking skeletons in the top of a huge building, an Art Deco building that is revered. And I was like, oh wait, it's the 80s. I get it now.
When they first show it from the outside, it looks like a bunch of homeless people are living in it. Like they got like 1 million homeless people living at the top of the Chrysler Building.
Yeah, drapes are flying everywhere and like tarps.
And this movie is like the quintessential B movie too. It's done cheaply. It got probably no publicity or promotion at all. Every fucking actor in this is like way past their prime. They're just doing it like they got the script like the day that they showed up. They like David Carradine agreed to this without even seeing a script. And as far as I know, what I read was that Leonard Cohen wrote this script in 6 days because he was fired from another movie, and he had a hotel room booked for a whole week to film that movie.
Yeah, Larry Cohen was let go of I, the Jury, which made a quarter of the money on this movie, which is actually sad in itself.
Right.
And he didn't want to lose the hotel room, so he was like, well, fuck it, I'm going to make a movie.
It's fucking amazing. It's awesome. And the casting for this is just incredible, too. Like, you got Shaft, you have Kung Fu.
You got Law and Order.
Law and Order, and Charlie's landlord from fucking It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, and the asshole detective. Oh, I'm sorry, but the asshole detective from Ace Ventura: Pet Detective. The one's like, "Hey, Ventura, homicide," and he steps on the bug. He's one of the mafia guys. Pretty sure what you're gonna say. I'm sorry.
Oh no, that totally blew the movie open for me when I saw that it was Charlie's landlord. I was like, what the hell?
And he's supposed to be Mexican. He's fucking Indian. He's not even Mexican.
Yeah, totally.
I had the best conversation, like just a few messages with Bub. I was like, he messaged me that he's like, well, it's good to see that Charlie's landlord is doing something, and I'm like, man, if only Charlie, we could use Charlie's gun lust right about now, because he would have fixed this fucking situation in a heartbeat.
Real quick.
So, there's the monster itself, it's a terrible looking monster. I mean, they did what they could with the money that they had. But it's still effective, as far as I'm concerned. I mean, it's claymation when you see it far away, and when it's close, it's definitely a hand puppet. But I still think I still think it would look cool, and it got the point. That monster is really there more to develop the characters that are trying to defeat it than anything else. It's not really meant to be scary. It's just meant to take this wannabe criminal and these kind of like clueless detectives and bring them together to try to defeat this thing. I thought that was pretty cool. I also like how the beginning of the story is like these detectives bouncing back and forth between two cases before they realize that it's one case. They're jumping back and forth between a guy who's like a serial skinner and possibly a flying monster that's eating people on top of buildings. I'm hogging the mic. Somebody else go.
Well, what I was going to say is actually one of the things I absolutely loved about this movie was Michael Moriarty playing Quinn.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the acting in this movie was actually phenomenal. I mean, if you really look at it with, a subjective view, he played such a different character than he has been typecasted, and he created a character that you absolutely hated but simultaneously was rooting for, because they laid the tracks that he beat his girlfriend. He is a serial criminal, but he played that piano and that scat in that in that bar, and you couldn't really help but root for him in a weird way, and his performance was phenomenal for a B movie. Absolutely fantastic.
I'll be honest with you, man. I didn't think he was that good. I think we're a little bit we're on different pages there, because I really didn't think he was that great. I thought he was so I thought David Carradine was great in this movie. I thought he stole the show.
Yeah, he stole the show, definitely.
Bruce, what did you think? Or fuck, I gotta get used to calling you Bub.
I mean, no, that's all right. I really like the Quinn character, except for the whole him being Bill Burr the whole movie, that really bugged me out.
We're gonna get to that later, because I want this movie to get remade so bad, and I already have a list of people who I think could play the parts, and obviously Bill Burr would be Quinn, no doubt. There's nobody else.
Yeah.
There's nobody else. The thing about one of the things I think is pretty interesting about this movie, and just the B movie thing in general, is that it came at a time when the B movie was sort of falling out of vogue. The 80s, there was obviously some B movies like Death Wish and all that stuff going on, but it was really there were less and less B movies being made as compared to the 50s and the 60s and the 70s. If you took this movie and put it back in the 50s or back in the 60s, this would have gotten top billing. This is like Godzilla with a grimy 80s New York edge. And that's why I think it's such a good piece. And you could really, other than now, you could really put it in any timepiece in New York City and it would totally work. Now it's way too commercial. You have to have that grimy criminal underbelly. And if you go to New York City now, you just don't, you don't see the mafia types walking around like you used to, or I didn't used to because I'm too young. But my dad used to tell me that you could spot them a mile away. You know what I mean? So I just thought that was an interesting thing. Another interesting thing was when, so Carradine, he plays Detective Shepard, and he's in that museum and he's trying to get information on this Skinner guy, and what he might be about. And the museum curator is telling him about all this Aztec stuff, and he's pointing to different things in the museum. Nothing in that fucking museum was Aztec at all.
Nothing. It was a single piece.
It was all Northwestern American Indian. It's like Eskimo and shit.
I have to interject because I laugh about the same thing, because when I was researching the movie, it actually got funnier the more I looked into how they made this movie, because that exact point, they're and nothing of that was Aztec whatsoever. I was I hope that's a joke. I hope that's an inner joke on this movie.
But yeah, I thought that was I noticed it, but I thought maybe it was he was pointing to something off camera, or you know what I mean? It was just supposed to be just a native type of display, and it was just to cover North America. And it's not. There was nothing there. I watched the movie twice this week. Once today, and once like a couple days ago, and I noticed it. I noticed it a couple days ago as well.
You are listening to Blood, Guts, and Blu-Ray with Bloodbath and Brett 667, the neighbor of the beast. Let us know what you think by reaching out to us. We can be found on Twitter, Tumblr, Instagram, or Facebook by simply searching Blood, Guts, and Blu-Ray. To suggest a film or trailer you think we should discuss, or to comment on this or any other episode, send an email to bloodgutsandblueray@gmail.com. We will always get back to you. Thank you for listening to Blood, Guts, and Blu-ray, and enjoy the rest of the show.
Let's Chat with Revel and Friends is part of Courts and Parts, a podcast network featuring pop culture, TV, and movie podcasts. Check out our other shows, That Popped Us Live, Talking Shondaland, We Got 5, and TV Ate My Brain at courtsandparts.com.
We were talking about David Carradine before. I think the last third of this movie is where he crushed it, especially when he's sitting down with him and he's having a cup of coffee and he's trying to like relate and trying to, you know, befriend him a little bit. Like, he really broke through to me as, you know, somebody who unfortunately at that point was probably past his prime, but I thought he crushed it. I thought this movie was really good. Bruce, what did you think?
Yeah, I thought he was really good, but like, you know, when you guys were like, oh, he ruled the movie, I felt like the first 45 minutes, he's not in it as much as you think he would be.
No, he's a big presence at the end, and the guy Richard Roundtree, who plays, you know, he's famous for Shaft. He's really a background character almost throughout this entire thing. He's got a couple funny one-liners right in the beginning. And he's got a couple funny one-liners right before he gets eaten by the winged serpent, and then that's really about it. You know, and then he's like a tough guy cop when they're negotiating or whatever. So
yeah,
I'm trying to think. All right, so in my notes from the first time I watched it, I put Bill Burr they should remake this movie and make Bill Burr Quinn, and then I thought to myself, well, who else should be in this movie? And so I kind of have a little bit of a list of people who I think should be in this. So let me know what you guys think, and if you think anybody else should be in it. All right, so here we go. The guy who played, who David Carradine played, we can get Mark Ruffalo to play him. You guys know who he is, right?
Of course, Ruffalo, yes.
Yep.
Get Idris Elba to play Richard Roundtree's part.
Okay.
It's not me being racist. I think that the movie was trying to create some diversity in the 80s, you know. So we'll keep the diversity. I think it's good. That commissioner, the guy with the Irish accent, which is just strange.
In New York City, yeah.
Is that the
in
guy
the 80s?
Who was smoking
you know what I mean? Like
he
in
was
the
like
60s.
smoking the pipe the whole time.
Yeah, he's like, I don't know if I believe you guys. I think we get Tom Wilkinson to do that. I think he'd be great. He makes a good commissioner. He's like a tough, you know, like square-chinned kind of guy. I think that would work really well. For the Aztec killer, that guy from No Country for Old Men, Javier Bardem, is that his name?
Yeah, Javier Bardem.
Yeah.
He would be great. And for I guess Quinn's girlfriend, you could get Olivia Wilde, because why the fuck not? She's really cute.
Oh yeah, she's awesome.
And if there's any opportunity to just throw her in a shitty horror movie, I'm all for it. So, I've been hogging the mic. What do you guys have to add?
Well, one thing's for sure is that for the Carradine character, he did not display any type of toughness. So I would definitely want a weenie that wants to be tough, like a Joseph Gordon-Levitt or God, even a Matthew McConaughey, like just somebody who's to try to be tough. And it's gonna. I laughed every single time that Carradine was trying to be tough, but I kind of felt he was a bit tough. So I really don't know.
Hold on, you don't think that Carradine was tough in this? I thought he was really tough. Well, he went up and went after that monster like almost by himself at one point.
Well, I agree with Bub on the fact that the movie wasn't about him until the last like 15 minutes, where he had probably my favorite quote, which is very simple of, "Oh, it's big." You know, like where I kind of want somebody who is a little bit more adept in comedy, because the whole movie, like I loved every single time Carradine was on set, was on screen. Don't get me wrong, and he definitely stole the show. But that goofy fucking haircut, and
maybe get Javier Bardem to play him.
Yeah, maybe, yes, maybe we could. Maybe Javier Bardem could play both parts.
Dude, that's a twist. That's like an M. Night Shyamalan type thing.
Yes. I didn't really take him seriously because he's a detective, and he basically right off the bat was like, "Yeah, this is a god. How do we kill a god?" And I was like, well, where's his skepticism? He was like, "Yeah, this is a giant serpent or a god." And I was like, there was no exposition on him figuring that out. And then out of nowhere, the cops are just like, "Yeah, well, it flies along the sun, so that's why you can't see it, as it sprays blood on the entire New York City, but nobody saw it because of the sun." And I'm like, this is great.
Can we actually talk about that one part for a second? Because the voiceover and the reactions to when people are getting blood dripped on them.
Oh, those are the best.
Yes. Those were the best. I love that part. That was awesome. And you could just clearly tell they're like, "What the?" And their voice does not even match. They're like their mouth movement or like their body or anything. Like, it's really rare that somebody doesn't sound the way they look. Does that make any sense?
Yeah, and there's a girl that she screams, but she doesn't open her mouth. She just looks at her shirt that's covered in blood, but you hear like a, "Whoa, whoa, whoa." And I'm like,
yeah,
yep, that's the 80s.
I mean, it's basically like, it's almost like Mike Tyson's in a way, because like Mike Tyson's this big guy, and then when he talks, you're like, "What?" And these people are like it's like a smaller dude, like me, and he's like, "What the?" Ugh. He's like making this weird noise.
Oh, jeez.
They really built up to that part too, you know. They're doing like the aerials around like the building and stuff, really building it up, and then all of a sudden it's like, once it started raining blood, that was awesome.
I think that it's funny that you brought that up, because that was my next point. I think the aerials were probably the most expensive part of making this movie.
which consisted of a helicopter with a video camera duct taped to the bottom of it, and it was the best part.
I thought they got pretty good shots of Central Park. It looked really nice, even back then. I mean, it was loaded with heroin needles back then, but that's fine. What else was I going to say about this? Bruce Willis was almost in this movie that played the role David Carradine played.
Yep, he wasn't picked because they wanted to have a what was it? They wanted to have a known actor, but then Bruce Willis was famous from Larry Cohen's Moonlighting, correct?
Yeah. Yes. I don't know, man. I think I can't imagine Bruce Willis being in this movie. I can't picture it.
No, not at all.
Maybe he could be the Aztec killer in the in my remake. Yeah, I wonder if I can get him. Maybe I can get Kevin Smith to direct it.
Look, as long as the three of us are like in the scene where the blood drips on everybody, I'm okay.
Yeah. Yeah, I want to be the guy who gets picked out of the pool.
Oh my god, that scene. Oh my god.
Bruce, you could be one of the mob guys. It goes up there. But you could be the second one that goes up there, like, "Hey, don't try to get fancy on me up there." And then you get...
Like, what was that guy thinking? Like, he knew the first guy was dead, and he's going up there anyway.
And then he's telling Quinn, he's like, "All right, you stay here. Don't move." And Quinn's laughing in his face. He's like, "Yeah, you got it. No problem."
Well, if I'm going to pick a scene that I want to be in or a character, I want to be the guard who repeatedly says, I can hear you. I can hear you around here.
You'd make a great guard, dude.
Because I so don't look like a guard, so I would
Neither
love
did that
to be the
guy.
guy with... Neither did he. But he says to Quinn like 9 times. He walks up and walks the door with like a revolver in his hand. I can hear you. I can hear you moving. But he doesn't actually go anywhere. He's like, fuck it. And he just turns around and he just walks back downstairs.
You are listening to Blood, Guts, and Blu-Ray with Bloodbath and Brett 667, the neighbor of the beast. We are dedicated to bringing you the show across your favorite medium. We can be found on iTunes, Stitcher, TuneIn, and YouTube. Please send all suggestions to bloodgutsandblueray@gmail.com. Thank you for listening.
Bub, what was your rating on this?
I'm telling you, man, I'd give it like a 3.5.
That's a good rating.
Yeah.
That's good. Brett?
Identical. I gave it a 3.5, even though it was funny and silly for the time. It actually had a cohesive story. There was actually a well-developed plot and well-developed characters. Yes, the visuals were very dated and hysterical, but man, was it just thoroughly enjoyable, and the story was cohesive. So I gave it 3.5.
I gave it a 2.5. Now, it's going to sound low because of how much it seems like I was enjoying it, and I really did enjoy it. 2.5 means I really did like it. I rate sort of things differently because I enjoy bad movies so much that if something is like a 2 or maybe even a 1.5, I'll still watch it again. You know what I mean? Like, I know we're going to have to talk about Microwave Massacre at some point, and I'm dreading it. Because that movie was... but it was a perfect pick, because what did I say? I was like, let's just pick something fucking ridiculous. And you can't get any more ridiculous than Q the Winged Serpent or Microwave Massacre. Those were brilliant picks. And Surf Nazis Must Die. I mean...
But Q the Winged Serpent ended up being a somewhat viable movie. So, I mean, you know, your 2.5 is basically Bub and I's 3.5 because we just so much thoroughly enjoyed it.
No, and I did. I mean, I watched it twice, and I was, like, excited to watch it again. I just, you know, I think some of the ways I rate stuff funny, I think, compared to most people, because I sort of keep a count on, like, cool ass parts that happen. Like if they make me like fall out of my chair or scare the shit out of me or something, like I kind of put a check mark by them. And the more check marks that you have, the closer you get to a 5, and vice versa. So I thought this was an excellently acted movie, especially for its budget, and it was a lot of fun to watch. I'll watch it again. I'll watch it right now, but and I watched it today. I mean, I watched half of it today already. So. Yeah, it was a great movie. I will go on record as saying that as far as B movies go, and 80s B movies, 80s B movies all around, I've never heard anybody talk about this movie, and it's a damn shame because it blows a lot of them out of the water.
Oh yeah, you know, I think the deaths alone, like the comedy mixed into the deaths, is like the best. Like with the part with the construction worker, he's like, "This is the third time. This is the third time this week they stole my lunch."
Yeah, the lunch pail.
And so New York, the guy who's stealing his lunch is like, his wife makes a hell of a tuna sandwich. I'm gonna go over there and tell her one day. And meanwhile, his head is just falling down off the building.
I actually wrote in my notes, I stopped and wrote, bada bing, bada boom, I'm walking over here. Because it was so New York stereotype that I loved it. I just loved it. It was great.
The other thing is, too, and I should have asked this one early on, but see if you guys agree with me here. Why would the Mafia ever pick fucking Quinn to work with, ever? He's a coward. He'll turn on you at the drop of a hat. He can't run. He's not a tough guy. He doesn't want to shoot anybody. He's basically just this terrible liability.
He's also non-committal. He doesn't commit to the mission at all.
No, he doesn't want to take any risks. they should have known he was gonna like screw it up because he's a total screw up. I mean, the real mob would have given him one chance. He would have failed, and then they would have basically put him in a barrel and buried him in the fucking Pine Barrens. That's what would have happened. I mean, everybody's in The Sopranos. So I mean, what? Am I right? Am I wrong? Would you ever, if you were in the mob, would you ever work with that guy?
Hell no.
Oh, no way. No way.
No
like
way.
That's like in a when they go in the diamond store in the beginning, right? It's like he's in there for like 2 seconds and then he comes running out. I thought the other guy got shot or something. He's just leaving, you know?
Well, he just dips out.
They really made it seem in the beginning. I was like, did he just fucking kill everybody? Because there's no way the owner of a diamond shop, which by the way is called Neil Diamonds, which
I was about to say
that. He walks out of Neil Diamonds with a bag, and I'm like, well, everybody's dead. He walked in with 2 hard-ass mafia guys. Is Quinn a badass motherfucker? Well, apparently not, because he won't agree to killing anybody, but, you know, sending them up to their death to face Quetzalcoatl. Yeah, I didn't kill him.
Well, so that's the only part I empathize with him, because he had this. They were definitely going to kill him. Like,
oh yeah,
definitely. They were definitely going to do it. So he led them up there to save his own life, and it was a gamble too, because the thing could have ate him as well. But he knew that he was going to die, and that his only chance was this ancient monster from 1,000 years ago eating their heads.
That just somehow showed up at the Chrysler Building.
that lives in the fucking Chrysler Building.
That part totally reminded me of like Little Shop of Horrors, though. He's like, he's not eating me because I'm feeding him. You know?
Right. You're absolutely right. Absolutely right. And you know, there's another part too was funny. He's like, this thing could be coming from anywhere. It could be flying in from Jersey every day.
Well, which it would, because the New York eating is so good.
Everybody knows New York's got the best food.
Hey, bada bing! I'm walking here.
Your mother's a whore.
Oh my god, it was so good.
It was such an awesome movie. So I think from now on, we basically determined that we're going to use the trailer to pick the movie from now on. We're all
That's the way to go.
Each one of us is going to pick a movie, and then we're all going to watch the trailer, and then honestly say, okay, cue the Winged Serpent was better.
Yep.
Or something like that. So, I think I might Brett's back. Okay, I lost him for a second, but I got him back.
Yeah, my phone's dying, and I have it plugged in for the charger, but apparently it does not want to charge.
Okay, so, well, we are about done here. I think we covered everything. Did I miss anything? I think we basically, this is a movie that's analogous to, like, Alligators in the Sewers or The Monkey Man in Hoboken.
Yes, Alligators in the Sewer, yes.
Has anybody done that, by the way? Like, am I just thinking of it? Like, how come after seeing this, nobody went, you know what we got to do? We got to make an Alligator in the Sewer movie, right?
We might have the $1 million idea right there, because I've never seen Alligators in the Sewer of New York City, which we've all heard of before.
Everybody talks about that. Alligators in the Sewer. They made a movie about the rats in New York. It's called Mulberry Street. It's fucking insane. The rats turn the people that they bite into rat people. Which is wild. It's a fairly new movie too. It's not that old. I watched it in the house when I lived in the house with you, Brett. I watched it there. So they have to. I mean, they should probably do that. I think if nobody's done Alligator in the Sewer movie, I say we write an Alligator in the Sewer movie.
I'm looking at it right now, Bri. In 1980, they made a movie like that about Chicago. It's called Alligator.
Is it Tobe Hooper directed?
You know what? Let's see who's in it. No, it's a bunch of no-name people. Louis Teague directed it, but it's about a baby alligator flushed down the toilet that like runs havoc on Chicago.
I might need to see that. That's good. That's good, quick-ass fact-finding, Bruce. That's awesome. You're bringing a level You're bringing a level of professionalism to this show that we didn't have before you got here.
Thank you.
No problem.
I completely agree.
So I think that's gonna do it. We talked about this unbelievable movie, which there's one part we didn't talk about, which this is why we need to do this remake, is because at the end there's another egg that they didn't kill. They killed one egg in the movie, which for some reason maybe it's sadistic on my part. But I was happy when they killed the egg. I was happy as fuck when they were shooting that thing.
Well,
I don't know why.
They didn't kill one egg. They killed a bunch of eggs. Cue the breakfast quote.
Right, but they really focused on that one egg. You know what I mean? Like the one egg had the fucking monster thing like trying to come back out. You know what I mean? The other ones, they just died. All the eggs they just died. They were like innocent egg standers. And but then there's one egg that they missed. And there's never been a sequel to this. So I'm just saying, like, they gave it an opportunity to be made into a sequel, and they never did it, which is weird. Well, it's not weird. The movie barely made any money, but I just think
I'm sure if we actually contacted Larry Cohen and said, "Can we make a really shitty and low budget sequel to this movie?" He'd be like, "Yeah, here's the rights."
Yeah, it's gonna be tough. It's gonna be tough. He's dead.
Oh, well, he'll agree then.
He won't disagree.
He won't disagree, exactly. That's agreement.
I'll take your silence as complacence.
So you didn't say no.
I didn't hear you say no, Larry. All right, so guys, want to thank you. Thanks everybody for listening. We've been getting a ton of support from everyone on Twitter, a little bit here and there on Instagram, on the Horror Amino app. You guys have been excellent, and we really appreciate it. Gotten a couple reviews over the last couple episodes, which have been awesome, and we really appreciate all the support that we're getting from everybody. Would love to welcome. Hey, Bub, you did great this episode. This is you never done anything like this before, and you fucking crushed it.
Oh, thank you.
So, Bub's a permanent part of the show. Brett 667 and myself, obviously, we're gonna be here, but now we're a trifecta. Next week we are gonna do a show. It's going to be weird for you guys. I'm just letting you know because I am going to be at that horror convention. But I'm still going to find a way to do it from the hotel. We'll probably just go late again, like 10:30. And if we can.
That's dedication, man.
That's dedication. Hopefully I'll have something cool to talk about. I think it's sort of like that. That's a Friday and it's only like a half day of the convention. And then Saturday's the big day. So hopefully we'll have the baby down and there'll be a balcony that I can go outside and not annoy the shit out of my wife on. So we'll pick a new movie by Sunday, I guess, and we'll have all week to give it a watch. So, thanks you guys for listening. And what was it? I said I had to remind myself to say something at the end of each episode. Oh yeah, if you're listening to us on iTunes, do us a favor. Rate, review, and subscribe. It helps us out. And it lets us know if we're doing a shitty job or if we're doing a good job. So, do us a favor and do that for us, and we'll give you a shout out or something. That'll be fun, I guess. So, thanks for listening, guys.
Thank you for listening to Blood, Guts, and Blu-Ray with Bloodbath and Brett 667, the neighbor of the beast. Written by Brett and Bloodbath. Edited and produced by Bloodbath. Music has been graciously provided by the Slasher Film Festival Strategy from album Psychic Shield, available now on Death Waltz Originals. Artwork and logo have been provided by Bruce Tedford. Blood, Guts, and Blu-ray is available on iTunes, Stitcher, TuneIn, and YouTube. Be sure to follow us on Facebook as well as Blood, Guts, Blu-ray on Twitter, Blood, Guts, and Blu-ray on Instagram, and visit our Tumblr page by going to bloodgutsandblu-ray.tumblr.com. For any questions regarding the show, advertising, or anything else, please send an email to bloodgutsandblueray@gmail.com. Thanks again. Get possessed.